Ganz kurz für diejenigen, die eben gesagt haben, sie möchten das gerne auf Deutsch haben. Ich werde ohnehin im Anschluss nochmal Videomaterial rundschicken, beziehungsweise an meine Ansprechpartner, Maxim und Jake, und die werden dann auch das Videomaterial an Sie alle weiterleiten. Und dieses Videomaterial haben wir sowohl in Deutsch als auch in Englisch. Also von daher ist es, wie gesagt, überhaupt gar kein Problem jetzt mit den Sprachen. Wenn irgendwas unklar sein sollte, einfach Fragen sammeln, die werden wir dann am Ende besprechen in einer Q&A-Runde, und dann denke ich, dass Sie alle aber vorbereitet sind für die kommende Messe.
Okay, then I think we should start. I will give a super quick introduction. So I hope most of you know who I am. So my name is Maxim Polikarpov, and we are having communications with you most of the time when we reply your questions. I'm the customer relations manager, and today we are going to have the seminar on Userlike, and Tessa will nicely introduce what Userlike is for you. She will make sure to cover all the aspects on how to best use Userlike during the day of the fair. I want also to quickly introduce our nice team. So first of all, it's Jake Kasselman, who is project manager of our virtual fair this year, and also the guy who answers all your technical questions for the technical team. It's Matteo Anderek. And it's pleasure for us to welcome all of you today. Thank you for finding the time to join the webinar, and I hope you will enjoy it. And as I said, we will for sure distribute the link with the recording after. So Tessa, the floor is yours, please.
Okay, thank you very much for this nice introduction. So my name is Tessa. I'm Key Account Manager here at Userlike. I'm responsible for some bigger companies that are using Userlike. And today you will get an insight into our software, that you are well prepared for the upcoming fair. Yeah, and I think I'm gonna share my screen that you will see something of our software. Bildschirm freigeben. Well, then we can finally start. Sorry for that. I have deleted my cookies and browser cache this morning, so I think that was the problem here, but now we can start. So as I told you, you will get an insight into the Userlike software, that you are well prepared for the fair. So basically, what is Userlike? Userlike is a software as a service that you, so you don't have to install something or to download something for every chat button, which is kind of this here. You will get an individual Java code snippet, which you copy and paste and implement into your website in the quell code. And we go right through it into unified messaging. So this is the start page, but you will find some other menu points right here. A few words for every menu point. So we have here the message center. This is the second level. So Userlike has two levels. The first level is the Userlike dashboard, which you see right here. The Userlike dashboard is for configuration, for every other changing in your account. And the message center is the second level, where the chats are coming in. So when you're the operator who is responsible for chatting, then you log into your Userlike account with your, there's someone coming, Layla. You log in with your Userlike credentials and get right here into the Userlike dashboard. And afterwards, you will go to the message center to receive the conversations and to chat. But this we will talk about later on. Under account, you will find some other company settings, information, subscription information, and so on. So the one who has registered for the Userlike account, he will automatically be the owner of the Userlike account, and only he has the rights to go into the account section here. Then what is most important for all of you is the widget creation. So we have here different kind of channels. We have the website widget, so the web chat, and we also have messaging apps, but this is not relevant for you for the fair, just the website widgets. And therefore I have created a widget for you that we can talk about the widget configuration. So this is called the widget editor. Here you can configure the widget that its behavior like you want, and that the appearance is like you want, for example. And first of all, you have general information. So you have the name of the widget. So for, do we have an example, a company example? What do we have? Nuklearforum Schweiz. I have in mind. So then you will name this widget Nuklearforum Schweiz, of course. You can pick the language here. So when you are, when you aim English, then you set the language to English. When you communicate basically in German, then of course you can pick the German language. You can also pick a topic, for example, and every chat that is coming over this widget you have created will automatically have the topic like question or support, which you have picked right here. But you can also create some other topics like sales or like education or employee branding, something like that. But this is part of chat tools where we go later on.
All right. Can I ask a question? This is Insaf here. Thank you very much for this. How would you call, because you guys talk a lot for ETH and this tool about widget and widget and widget. What would you say? What is a widget if you were to give it another name? Because I'm trying to understand what it really what it means. And sorry if I'm not familiar. I hope that's not a silly question.
No, that's fine. Like I said, the chat widget is like the chat button. So every widget you create here in your Userlike account is a known chat button that you can implement on the website. So the widget is like the chat button that you have implemented on the website.
And does there have to be like several chat bots, as you said, or boxes, or is it just one? Because when you say, yeah, you have to choose, one needs to put in the topic. So does one have to create several ones for the fair, or is this just topic discussion, one widget for the fair enough?
I don't know if it's planned. Jake or Maxim, maybe you can help here. So you can create about 10 widgets, but I don't know if you really need 10 widgets, so 10 chat buttons. I think
maybe I can comment on that. Yes. So at your booth, you will have your booth like with the background image and all these nice clickable buttons on top of it. And you will have just one Userlike widget in the bottom right corner of your screen.
Exactly, that's right.
Tessa has it right now, and the view of the booth for the student will be pretty much like you see it now on the Tessa screen, assuming that you would not see Userlike screen, but the booth.
The booth, okay. And then there is a widget for Userlike, and I think there is another one for another tool they use, and it's called Wonderme, if I get that correctly.
But Wonderme is out of the scope of today's presentation.
Yeah, understood.
So just one question to Tessa. Tessa, would you like questions to be asked during the presentation, or would you prefer the questions to be asked in the end of the presentation?
I think it would be better during the presentation, because then it's right in the context. Then it's related to what I've presented a few seconds before. I think it's better. So yeah, that was good.
Thank you very much for the answer. Thank you.
Then we have
Yeah,
a
you're welcome.
question, maybe to Tessa. The question from Ott. What do I have to enter in the inbound URL?
Yeah, that was the next point I was talking about, the inbound URL. So the inbound URL is basically the URL of your website where you have implemented your widget, because the inbound URL is part of our offline mode. I have prepared, can I move this here? Where is it? Yeah, I can move this. Well, I have prepared something. So I have implemented this this widget on our test page. And when I start a new conversation right here, then there is no one online. So I can start a conversation. Hi, I have a question, and then I will start the conversation, but I'm also asked to give my contact details right here. Let's do that, tester and Userlike email address, and there we have thank you. The operator will answer my question when he's online. So we will get back to the Userlike dashboard, to the inbound URL. So after the operator has gone to the message center and was assigned to this conversation I've just started, then he will answer my question, of course, and I will get an email on my contact details that the operator has answered with the information or with the content of the answer, and with a button which is linked to this inbound URL and which I can click to forward it again to the conversation, again to the original widget. So basically, this is the URL of the page where the widget is implemented.
Mm-hmm. But in our case, we won't implement anything on our own website. So this is implemented in our booth for the Polyfair, right? So I suppose we will get this URL from someone.
Maybe it's the landing page of Polyfair. So where you have your booth.
So if I go into the account of Userlike, I see one widget which has been already created somehow.
Yeah, this is the default widget.
That's the default widget. So can we just use this? Because I don't want to be an expert on Userlike. I just want to have a chat site where we can chat together with the students. So
yeah, of course you can.
That's what I need. So I think we should then everyone that is listening to now has this this widget here, has the website widget. So I think we have to get to know of how we can use this widget. Huh? Exactly this widget, because we just need this widget, not any else.
Yeah, this is the default widget. This is automatically created in your Userlike account. If you are if you want to create your own widget, for example, so you have your test widget and you have your widget which you use for the fair, then it's totally fine. So of course you can configure the default widget which is already in your Userlike account.
So then it would be interesting to see how to configure this default widget, because from myself, from my point of view, I will not create any other widget. Why should I? Because I just need a chat channel. So
yeah, but we are right into it. This is the default widget. This is kind of this is the widget editor. So when you click on your default widget, then you will lead right to the widget editor where you can configure where you configure your widget. It doesn't matter if this is a default widget or another created widget. The widget editor is every in every widget the same.
So Tessa, I think what Michael is trying to say is that he and all the other customers already provided us with the snippet for the widget, and we embedded it at the Expo IP platform. So if Michael, can I share your booth publicly with all the participants of
sure.
the chat? You are from NOSA Engineering, right? Yes.
Okay, do I have to stop?
You don't need to stop.
Okay.
This is Michael's booth. I think you can see my screen now, I hope. Yeah, and this is how the booth looks like. There was a question before about Wonderme. So this is the Wonderme button, but it's out of the scope of today's presentation. And this is Userlike button. And this is what we are talking about today. So maybe answering Michael's question, my assumption would be that you don't actually need to configure URL. Tessa, is it correct? Because now this widget is already embedded at the booth and it's ready to go, right? I can write Michael, hello, and then it's kind of configured already automatically. So is it right, or do I miss something?
No, I think it's right. So if it's already implemented and you have already set some configuration, then it's of course fine. Then you don't need the widget editor to be explained. And also the inbound URL. This is just for your understanding that this is part of the offline mode. So if an operator isn't available for incoming chats, or if he is at lunch and cannot chat, for example, then the inbound URL is important for the chats which are coming in while the operator is at lunch.
So maybe you just show the booth again. Maybe for all of us, this is just an example here, but you could configure it together so that we all see how it works actually. So if you write here a message, then where does this message comes out? On the Userlike list, so I should see it on the message center, or because I don't see Michael hello here. I'm on the message center, but I cannot see anything.
Okay, yeah.
No, I have to correct. I see here Michael hello from a contact, yes, with a number, not from Maxim. So there is a 8-digit number.
Yeah.
And now if I want to write back, what do I have to do?
So when I understand this correctly, you are in the message center and you see a number in your inbox at unassigned. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so
share your screen, Michael. Maybe.
Yeah, then
so I've just written hello Maxim and it appears here.
okay, but then you're online. So you just have switched from away to online, and then you've seen here it's switched from the support team to Michael Eisenring. So you're online and can chat live with Maxim.
But what happens if a lot of people use the same button? So there are 3 others that use it. So
you can
chat live, but I have no contact information.
Yeah. Can you say what you see in the left corner, in the left bottom corner? Do you have all live chat slots blocked, or are there any live chat slots available? How many live chat slots do you have, or do you see?
Just one.
Okay, just one. So when you increase the number of live chat slots, for example, from 1 to 3 or 4 or 5, then you are able to chat with 3, 4, 5 persons at the same time. So you can write, or you can have more chats at the same time when you increase the number of chat slots. I can show how and where you can configure this. Okay, yeah, now we have the message center.
You see so you see my screen now.
Yeah, I can see your screen now.
That's what I see, and I guess that's what everybody sees. if he goes to the Userlike message board in his booth.
The message center.
Message center, yes. So we have this communication now. So it's possible if I have this site here open at the 13th of April, then we can chat together, but I cannot see from where it's coming from. So I just see the contact number. So is it possible that the student can enter his name and then I can say, hello, Maxim, because I don't know if it's Maxim.
So when you're online, and you have the configuration, wait a second, and when you have the configuration under chat behavior, I was going back to the widget editor. And when you switch the approach on the online mode, registration mode, then you will have a registration form before the web visitor can start a chat. So he's asked for name and email address, and then after that he will assign to you as operator. So you have started the chat while the operators were offline, and Maxim was also asked for contact details. Maxim, maybe you can go, or we can go back to the page where the widget was implemented on the booth.
So I will close down my screen now. Stop sharing, yes.
Yes. Okay, right. Here you have the registration mode. This is perfect. And the registration mode is always shown when the operators are online. So, yeah, senden.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So this is, so now we, Michael, are you, you are offline, right?
Well, I'm still on the message center.
Okay, you have your chat slots blocked. So you have no available chat slot left. This is why the support team and the offline message is displayed. Maybe you can end one chat or both chats that you can.
So I see actually that it works now. Moin Moin, that was from Maxim, and hello is from me.
Okay, perfect.
So maybe
right.
we should continue with this topic, because I'm sure there will be plenty of time also in the end to cover all these aspects.
Just to add a little thing, because from what I understand, there is a lot of time here dedicated to Userlike, but I also understand that Wonderme would be the main communication tool during the fair, right? And I know it's not a Wonderme. I know it's not a Wonderme presentation. So when Wonderme is the main communication tool, actually during the fair, so also it's more interactive and video, etc. So Userlike is a support. Is like is it like an Outlook outside of Wonderme, or how? What is the relation between the two?
There is no relation between the two. Userlike will serve you for the situation when, imagine the student comes at 7 p.m. There's already nobody at your booth. Or as for the case of some big companies, they will be available only in the morning, and after lunch, they decide not to be available at their booth. But students may come, students may have questions, students may try to contact you, they may want to leave their name, their email address, such that they stay in the loop, such that you can retrieve this information and include them in your talent pool and follow up with them later and send your company updates later. This is exactly the reason why we use Userlike. This is the reason why we're having this seminar today, because like this, you can really have in the loop all the participants that are slightly interested or completely interested in your company, and not to lose them because you were, 10 minutes, you went for the bathroom, and then there was a bad luck and the guy came to Wonderme and there was nobody and he left completely.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So it's that's perfect. Thanks a lot.
continue, I raised a question in the chat because I didn't want to disturb Tessa. But I would like to know how I open more channels in case there are more people coming to the booth at the same time. And at some times during the fair, we have also 2 or 3 people who will be at the booth from our staff, so they could answer at the same time. So should they all have a different channel, their own channel?
No, they are all linked to the same widget.
Okay.
You can link all operators to this widget which you have implemented via the operator group. So if all operators have the same group, for example, default group or support group, and this group will link to the widget, then they can get chats from this widget. So you don't need any more channels because this is your channel.
But how do because we will be at different locations, everybody in front of his or her own laptop. So, and if there are 4 or 5 students coming to the booth at the same time with questions, do they all have a different kind of conversation stream with?
Yeah, they have, because your colleagues will be created as own operator. I think we can jump into the dashboard again, where I can show you how to create the operator and how to link the operator with the operator group to the widget. And then I can also show you how to increase the live chat, the number of live chat slots, so that you or your colleagues are able to have several chats at the same time. All right.
Excuse me, before we proceed to the operators, this is Federlane from AWK Group. I just have a question regarding the website widgets we just discussed, because in my default widget, it says status ungültig because the URL is missing. So what do I enter as an inbound URL?
Just the URL where the widget is implemented.
So that would be the URL from the Poly-E-Fair stand, I believe.
Yeah.
Or booth of ours, is that correct?
Yeah, this is correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, then I think I have to share my screen again.
Yeah, maybe we try to go on now because we have just 90 minutes of the seminar. So maybe if the question is not urgent, then we leave it for the end. If it's really urgent, then please feel free to unmute yourself and ask.
Okay, right. Yeah, as we talked about, we go to the operator creation. So this you can create under the menu point team. Here you have the operators and the operator groups. So you have default groups or the standard groups like default or sales or support, but you can of course create your own operator group, for example, Poly-E-Fair or booth, for example. So here you can see my operator group. It's a second level support. Next step is that you create an operator. So you click here the button add operator. So we can do that, and then you add here first name, last name, the username. For example, you have the surname and the first letter of the first name, or another combination which you prefer. Then you enter the email address, and after you have created the operator will receive an email with his Userlike credentials to log into the dashboard. This is very important for you to know, that there is an email automatically generated with the password and with the Userlike credentials. So after you have created this operator, you can go into the operator profile. So like this one here, this is my operator profile. And there you scroll down and see a field like group. Here you can pick the right group. For example, you have the widget with the operator group default. So that automatically means that I also have to be in the same group like the widget. So I also have to be in default group. And this is my link to the widget to get chats over this widget. Then the number of chat slots you see here in the chat panel. So here you have the number of chat slots, and of course you can easily increase the number up to 10, but this is kind of sporty, so maybe you start. So if you are online with 2 or 3 operators, then you can easily pick 3. But if you are alone, then it's very complicated to start with 4 or 5 live chat slots. I think it's kind of busy to start with so many chat slots. So just for your information, maybe you start with up to 3 chat slots here.
But then wouldn't it depend on, so is there a duration of chat slot? Do they have a live duration, or is it just instant messaging?
So no, it's based on, or it depends on the status. So if the message is live, so if the operator and the web visitor are online at the same time, then you have a live chat running. So when the operator goes away, is at lunch, or even the website, when he closed the messenger or closes the chat, then another live chat slot will be available. It's just for the live chat slots.
Okay, thanks.
All right. I would like to jump back to the widget editor because there are more points I would like to show you. Because you have seen the blue widget, but it's also possible that you change the appearance, like the color, like the main color here, or even the button icon you can select here. So you must not go online with our basic blue, which is our corporate identity color. You can choose your own color, of course, just for your information. Then we have the wording. So every text you see in the widget, you can configure here. For example, the register mode. So we have here, or maybe we can switch into English. Then we have also the wording here in English. So quick introduction, the register mode, please leave your contact details, enter your name, enter your email address. But if you communicate in German, you just need to change the language. In German, if you are using or if you communicate like du or sie, then you can switch to the wording and just adjust here all texts. All right. Next point here, we have talked about the operator groups. So in routing, you have 2 options for the routing. You have the default mode and you have the group select. In the default mode, you can only choose one operator group, which is here second level. So when you choose group select, then you can add not only one group, but also other groups to this widget. And all groups are shown in the widget so that the web visitor can choose, do I have a question regarding second level? Do I have a question regarding events? Do I have a question regarding sales or pre-sales? Then he can choose. And the operators which are linked to the certain operator group are automatically assigned to the group. Yeah, so for your information, you can choose between default and group select. So default, just one group, group select, several groups. But I think for your fair, it's only one group. So I think group select is not that relevant for the fair. All right, then also I think it's very interesting for you as operators that you get feedback. And how is the feedback? So you can ask for feedback in form of text and also enable here the feedback and 5-star rating. After the chat has ended, the web visitor will show the option that he can then he can rate up your conversation. Yeah, so this is regarding the widget editor. As I told you at the beginning, I will send you some video tutorials regarding the widget editor that you can look some points up to adjust the widget. Doesn't matter if the widget is already implemented on the website. Every change, every other configuration you will make here in the widgeter is automatically changed in the widget or is automatically adapted.
Yes, I have a quick question from the chat. So is it possible to make the widget work in different languages? For example, I approach the company as a student, and then the widget is smart enough to decide which language to use for me?
No, that's not possible. You have the option that you create different widgets for different languages. So one widget for the German language, one widget for the English language. But I think it's interesting that the operator uses the live, the auto translation in the message center. This is one feature which they can use. So I think it's a good idea that you set the widget language into English, which basically everybody understands. And then if there's a web visitor writing, sorry for my bad English, can we switch to French or to Spanish? Then you just activate the live translation, the auto translation, choose your language, French or Spanish, and you can write in your own language and it will directly translate it into the picked language. And then you can communicate, of course, in French or Spanish. Does this help?
Yes, it's perfect. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Then we go to the chat tools. So in the widget editor, we already talked about the topics. So if you choose here a topic for the widget, every conversation which is coming in over this widget has automatically this topic. For example, lead, and so I update this, and every conversation will have the topic lead. But you have also the option to create personal or individual topics. For example, ETH Zurich. And this topic you can also pick from the message center for several conversation. And it's also possible to not only set one topic, but also several topics for one conversation. Then we have our chat macros. Chat macros are predefined or prepared texts here in the dashboard. So imagine you have a question which is asked several times in an hour. Then you can create a chat macro, and we can do it, for instance, at macro. Then we have the name, for example, question 1. Then we have the text, and you can link keyboard shortcut to this text, to this macro. So for example, there's one student asking for an internship. Then you can create internship and then information regarding your internship. Are you available for internships? Do you have a certain time of the year where you offer internships, or do you have already interns in your company and there are no intern slots available, for example? Then you can create a macro with the information. And in the message center, you can directly choose one of those macros. I can show you how to pick the macros when we go to the message center, but for now it's important that you have the option to create the chat macros. All right, so far, do you have any questions regarding the dashboard, regarding configurations?
Yes, I have two. One of them is still unclear for me if we need to insert some sort of URL, because the person that shared their screen before that has a boot that was working, on his screen, it was working already. And as I understood, it also says it is invalid at the moment. So I don't understand exactly which URL or if we have to integrate something there.
We can go back to my website widget here. So here you see the HTTPS Userlike debug with a widget ID. This is my test page here where I have implemented my widget, my test widget. So this is basically the inbound URL I have update here. So if it doesn't work, make sure that you have HTTPS and then update again.
Okay, but the thing is that I am not putting this widget anywhere, right? I'm just participating in the Polyfair, so I have no control over which URL exists or any information on that.
Okay, then you need to talk to Jake or Maxine to get the URL, because Maxim, maybe you can help. Every booth has its own URL, right?
Yes, it has its own URL, but that's my question to you maybe as well. If it works right now for most of the booths, do we really need to put it here, or we can just leave it as it is now and skip for?
You can leave it, of course. Then you just have the red bubble. The widget is not valid. This is because of the inbound URL. If you can live with the missing inbound URL, then it's totally fine. So when it's working, that's good. This is not. This is not.
For now, let's agree with everybody that we leave it as it is, we move on, and if we decide that we need to still clarify this topic, I will communicate it to everybody and make sure what to do. But so far it looks that everything works and we don't need to change anything, right?
Okay, and then just ignore the red bubble that this widget is invalid.
And one question, red bubble will be on which side? On customer side or on?
No, in the widget editor. I don't know who it was. Someone says, I have a red bubble here, which is saying that the widget is not valid in the dashboard.
Okay.
So I can show you, wait a second. So update here. There you can see the red bubble. The widget has no inbound URL value. Please specify. This is what I was talking about. This is just a warning. Just ignore it. All right.
I have a question. Sorry. How do the other operators enter in this account to be able to chat with the other persons who are going to ask questions in the virtual booth through Userlike?
So when are you owner of this account?
Yes.
Okay, so so you have your login credentials, all right? So if you have some other colleagues, then first you have to create an operator for your colleagues, as I have already shown. Then an email is automatically sent to the colleagues with the login credentials, and then you go to the website, to the Userlike website, and log in with these credentials. And then you will get here to the Userlike dashboard. Then you will go to the message center. And there we go. And then you can receive chats.
Just one thing, when you say you actually mean the colleague of Aniko, I believe, was asking.
Yes.
Now. You mean that the other company operator, Tessa, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, the company operator.
So I have opened a new operator, but I have the role owner, and the other one has administrator. Is that okay?
Yeah, this is a good question, because you can set different roles. So as I already said, this person who has created the Userlike account is automatically the owner of the account. Okay. So every other operator will get another role, which you can see here. We have managers, we have admins, we have staff analysts and agents. And for each role, there are different rights. For example, the agents, they can only log into Userlike and are directly linked to the message center, because they only have the rights to get chats and to answer chats. For example, the messenger, for instance, he has more rights than other roles. He can config or create widgets. He can create widgets, he can write, or he can change chat settings. He can also change roles. Yeah, so I think for the fair, it's better for you if every operator, despite the account owner, will get manager or admin role.
Well, somehow the default is admin here, I see. So
default is admin. Yeah, that's great. Then you don't have to change anything.
So we will be there with 3 persons. So then I am the owner and 2 admins. In this case.
Yeah,
so
this is great.
These roles. Okay.
All right. All right. Do you have more questions regarding the dashboard?
Tessa, I have another one. So before, there was a situation in which a person, let's suppose a student was in the booth and they had to fill in their email and their name, right? And you said that this only happens when a person is online or offline. And how do we put ourselves online or offline?
Okay, so this is related to the message center, not to the dashboard. So I would suggest that we go to the message center. All right. Well, so here in the message center, you see your profile picture here, and there you have the possibility to set online or away. And now I'm not available for incoming live chats. So I have just here my open conversation and can communicate or can still communicate with them, but I'm not available for incoming chats. So when I restart here, delete cookies on this website, wait a second, delete cookies, restart, refresh. No, close Messenger, that works, that always works. So, and I start a new conversation again. So privacy notice, accept, and we have the support team again, which shows that nobody is there, nobody is online. Thanks for reaching out to us. We'll be right with you. Leave contact details here. So this is the indicator that that the operator is offline. So I can write here, hi. So, and after my lunch break, for example, I will set back to online and I will directly receive this message which I have started here, and then I can communicate with the web visitor. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. And if they leave contact details, where would we find those contact details? It would also be a conversation like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So maybe we can here with the you can end the conversation and we will start another conversation. Close Messenger, just to show you how and where to find the contact details. Start a new conversation. Oh, wait a second. Away, accept, leave contact details. Here's a button. I have a question. So, and there is a reminder, one more thing. We will only be able to read your messages and reply if you leave your contact details. Please enter them below. So here, Tessa and Userlike, send. Yes. And I will set to online again. And then we have my recently started question. And there you see my contact details. So we have the name, email address, and you have the possibility to add other contact fields like phone number, mobile number, country, for example. And this is also stored here. And if you have, or you obviously have created contacts, all contacts which have created some conversations, you will find here. And we have the Tessa here, for example, with the email address. And if you have other contact details, for example, like city or street, you can fill them in right here under contact, but also here in the conversation right under contact details.
Okay, thank you very much. And this only appears if everyone is offline at the time, right?
It also appears if you have the register mode activated. So when the operator is online, then the register mode is active, and the web visitor can only chat with you when he fills in his contact details. For example, we'll go back to the website widgets, admins, chat behavior. We have the registration mode here. Update widget. Go back to the message center and we will start another conversation. Close message. So start a new conversation, accept, and then we will have quick introduction. This is the registration mode where I'm asked to fill in my contact details. And after that, I will directly link to or assign to one operator. Hello, you're talking to Violet Par. How can I help you? Hi, Violet. I have a question. Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Yes, is it correct that in this default registration mode, the visitor is forced to leave his contact details in order to ask the question?
Yeah, this is right. Otherwise, he won't chat with you, or he won't lead to an operator. So this is just in the registration mode, but you can also, so if you don't want to ask the web visitor for contact details, then of course, wait a second, I was going to the channels. Then of course, you can switch to another online mode. You just go to normal and then the web visitor doesn't need to give the contact details. Yes. We go back to the message center. So regarding the message center, I will send you another video and tutorial that explains, for example, the contact details again, or the conversation information, where you see also the widget name or privacy mode, or the contact location, for example. But this box here is also very important, because here you can select your macros. So as I already explained to you, you have the option to predefine or to create text for often asked or frequently asked questions. Then you just click here and can choose here, for example, the chat macro. Tessa test blah blah blah. This is a very nice chat macro. Or so here we have the difference between use as template, that you can adjust the template, for example. We go to another here. Hi, thank you for visiting. How can I help you? And then we adjust this chat macro and send it. But you can also send this directly to the customer or the web visitor. Yes, then I think one feature is also very interesting for you. You have the option to send the conversation transcripts to other operators via $dispatch or $dispatch. So here you can, for example, my email address, tessa.mertens@userlike.com. So the dispatch feature was just activated. The transcript is scheduled for Tessa. And after I have ended the conversation, then the transcript is sent to the operator or the email address tessa.mertens@userlike.com. There's another option to save transcripts. You can activate an email ticket in the dashboard. Therefore, we go back to the dashboard because it's kind of an add-on. Here you will activate first the email ticket add-on. Right here, you click on the cable structure, and there you will define an email address on which every email ticket will send. And of course, you can choose if the email ticket is sent never, when you receive unread messages, ended conversations, or always, or after certain operator or chat events, which you can click here. This depends on you, which event you would like to be informed about. We go back to the message center because you have the option to download the conversation. So you don't need to activate the email ticket for a day. You can just chat the whole day at the fair. And in the evening, you go to the conversation archive and filter maybe on assignees or status or topics or rating, how many 5-star ratings did we get, or which feedback did we get, or you just collect all and download them, for example, into your system. I think you can download the conversations into a CSV file. And then you have all conversations downloaded, and of course can delete all conversations as well. Yes, do you have questions regarding Conversations Archive?
There are 2 questions. So there's one question, very nice one. Can I see all my colleagues' conversations from my Userlike profile? And then I would add to this question. So as the main admin, can I save all the conversation which occurred in all of my colleagues and the students?
Yeah, so the admin is able to see all conversations like I am, because we have the assignee Violet, and we have another operator and another operator, which is named, no, he has no name, but you can see that I am able to see all the conversations. Yeah. If you don't want to see them, then you have to adjust the role, or you set another role like agent, for example, because the agent role is not allowed to see the conversations of of the colleagues, just their own conversations.
Great. Then maybe another question from me. So if we go back to chats, to message center.
Mm-hmm.
So one important feature of the One important feature of the Userlike is the ability to assign the whole conversation to some other colleague. If I see that my colleague is, for example, from sales department, and the question is about sales department, how do I do that?
So you have here another action bar where you can see the conversation ID, which you can also adjust. And you see here your profile picture again. And here with clicking the drop-down file, you see all other operators. And you also see if the operators are online, which is marked with a green point, or offline with marked with a black point. So he doesn't, or he or she doesn't even is logged in to Userlike. So if this point is orange, then he's just set on away. But yeah, here's the list of all operators. And if I get a conversation which is related to sales, then of course I just pick one here, maybe Jean Grey, and then the conversation was assigned to my colleague. When we go to all conversations, here you see Tessa, this conversation here was assigned to Jean Grey. Does this answer the question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. And it's also, just for your information, and it's also possible to assign it back to yourself and to communicate again with the web visitor.
Yes, I just tried to create a new operator because we have like 5 operators in our group. Can you just show where it is again? I know you showed it, but I tried to follow it.
Yeah, of course I can do that.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
So we go back to the dashboard and creating operators right here under the menu point team,
Okay.
operators, and add operator. So
thank you.
No worries if there are informations just left after our admin workshop. I will send you videos and tutorials. And there are some points like creating operators or widgets or role setup is well explained.
Thank you very much.
All right. Are there questions left regarding the message center?
I have a question, in fact. So one of the key points, let's say if I'm the student, I'm approaching the chat, there is nobody currently online, or there are people online, but nobody can reply me. How can I configure auto reply messages that I receive as a student? Yeah.
This is a good question, actually. Therefore, we go back to the website widgets into the example widget. And we go to chat behavior, and there is a point which is called inactivity prevention. So here the difference between unanswered live conversations and unanswered offline conversations. So first of all, unanswered live conversations, I am writing a text or a message, start conversations to, for example, Violet Parr, and she doesn't answer. So what to do? You can disable, so the client, the web visitor, the student is waiting until the operator answers, or send an inactivity message first after the time you have configured here, and after the time is running, or the timer is running again, the conversation will be reassigned to another online operator. Or you can reassign the conversation directly to another online operator. This is also possible. So first option, inactivity message is sent, which you can configure here under inactivity. There you can find the text story to keep you waiting. I will be with you shortly. And after the second timer was run activity message offline, we're sorry, the operator isn't able to reply right now, please enter your message below, or this message is directly assigned to another online operator. So this is for unanswered live conversations. So when the operator is, for instance, at lunch and a student starts a conversation, then he will see the offline message, which you already have seen. For example, right here again. Wait a second. So where's the widget? There. Start a new conversation, accept. So this is the offline message. Thanks for reaching out to us. We'll be right with you, for example. And then I will write, start the conversation, and nobody is there. Then this conversation will first here, will first store here in unassigned until one operator is online, and then this conversation will be assigned to this online operator. If okay, if there's a conversation which has been continued, so for example, we have this one here. Hello, how can I help? Yes, and then we go, or the operator goes, or isn't online anymore, and then question left. And I have a question left and will continue this conversation. Then I won't get any response because this operator is obviously offline, and therefore we have another rule or configuration, and then we talk about unanswered offline conversation. So we go back to the widget editor in chat behavior, in activity prevention, unanswered offline conversation. Here you have two options. No, you have actually three options. So disable. So you keep the web visitor waiting until the operator is online again, or you assign the conversation and move it into the inbox after, for example, 30 minutes. So I think 12 hours is too much, but 30 minutes, or you reassign the conversation to another online operator. And so when the operator doesn't answer and is still away, then you can reassign the conversation maybe to another online operator. Yes.
One question from the audience. So does every operator need to set his, her own inactivity messages, wording, etc.?
No, it's just in the widget. So when the operator is linked, or many operators are linked to one widget, then all operators have the same inactivity message, because it's working from the widget level, not from the operator level.
So what you set up here right now will work for all the operators of your company?
Yes, yes, all operators that are linked to this widget.
Maybe one more summarizing question from me. So we imagine this scenario when the student is highly impatient. He doesn't want to wait. He approaches the booth. He doesn't see anybody live in Wonderme. So that's how he uses Userlike, because he has some urgent question or he wants a reply. He types his question. There is nobody online at the moment from operators. How do we configure the auto reply such that he gets auto reply immediately?
Therefore, you have the offline mode here. So there is the offline message during service time, or the basic offline message. Thank you for reaching out to us. We are currently offline, but please leave your questions or feedback below and enter your contact details so we can get back to you. So the web visitor can, of course, start a conversation, and then he will see the offline message, but it's communicated that the operator will get back to him or her, then it's fine.
And maybe one more thing I didn't clearly understand. And if the operator is online, but he's not assigned to some particular conversation for some reason, then what?
The conversation is reassigned to another online operator after a certain time, which you can define here under inactivity prevention. Inactivity prevention, here send inactivity message first or reassign conversation immediately after 1 minute.
So maybe for our fair, it makes a lot of sense to put it to send inactivity message first to keep the student informed that we get back to him, and then reassign conversation if still inactive.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a quick questions regarding this. So, for example, if we send them a message that we will back in a minute or whatever it is, but the student doesn't want to wait that long, so he's on our booth, but then he switches to another company and check this booth as well, and in the meantime we're going to write him back. How does the student see this our reply? Because then he's on a different booth. Where does our answer go? How can he see that?
This is a good question, because we talked about the inbound URL, and this is a situation where the inbound URL is very important, because when the web visitor closes the messenger or goes to another booth, then he only will read your reply when he has left his contact details, and if you have linked the inbound URL to your widget. Because when he goes, so he closes the messenger because he doesn't want to wait that long. He goes to another booth, and then the operator answers, and the web visitor will get an email with the information, hey, the operator from booth KPMG, for example, or Maxon, has replied with an information, and then he's able to go back to the conversation, to the actual conversation, and can chat for example, again with the operator.
Okay, thank you. So as long as he's not on our booth, but we reply, he will get an email if he has left the contact details.
Yeah, that's correct.
Perfect, thanks.
Yeah, but therefore it's very important to set or to link the inbound URL to the widget. So maybe
we will make sure to communicate how to do that after, and don't worry, we will take care of that in a sense that we will explain everybody, or companies, how to do that.
All right. Further questions to Message Center and dashboard? Because I have one point left, which I would like to present to you. But first, your questions. Okay, no question left. Then we go to the point analytics, because you have the option that you can filter or analyze your conversations regarding certain KPIs. We offer almost 30 KPIs, like quality, for example, and here we have the first response time and live conversations that we talked about it recently, when the operator or the answer of the operator takes a lot of time, and meanwhile the web visitor goes to another booth, and then the first response time is of course a very important KPI, but related to the quality, we also have the KPI feedback count, for example, or the satisfaction rating. This is the 5-star rating the operator can get, or the text feedback, for example. Then we have other KPIs regarding the operator status. So you can filter which operators were online and were when they were online on that day. For example, today we have the violet apply filter, and there you see I was offline the whole day until this afternoon, and here you see I was away, and here I was online, for example, and this could also be important for you or for the other operators. There are other KPIs like missed opportunities. So here you see, yeah, this or these situations where nobody was online, for example. You can also filter after topics. So if you have created different topics like internship or sales, support, jobs and career, for example, then you can filter after these several topics right here and see how many chats did you get during the day regarding the jobs and career or regarding the internships, for example. Yes, and regarding the analytics, because we have almost 30 KPIs, I would also like to send you a documentation where every KPI is explained and described, that you can choose which KPIs you would like to track. Therefore, so if you have chosen your KPIs, then you will create your analytics dashboard. So you added dashboards, and we'll add one dashboard, and maybe the new dashboard names like ETH Zurich again, and then you can choose the KPIs. For example, we have the first response time and live conversations, and we have missed opportunities, for example, and the last KPI, satisfaction rating. Then create the dashboard, and then you have the ETH Zurich dashboard with all the KPIs here. Yes. Do you have questions regarding the analytics?
Maybe one more question. Can I download everything as the CSV raw data or something?
Pardon, what was your question?
My question is that I want to download all the analytics data.
Yes.
Computer, how do I do that?
So when you go into the KPI, for example, or into the dashboard, ETH Zurich, for example, then you have your KPIs right here, and you just click on download and can download the values.
Can I download everything at once?
No, that's not possible right now. We are working on it, but I think we won't be able to offer this feature in 2 weeks that you can download all KPIs at the same time. For now, you have to download every KPI itself. Yeah, but normally you won't choose all the 30 KPIs. So you just pick the important KPIs you would like to analyze or to track, for example, not all. Then it's fine when you have to download all KPIs per se. All right. Questions left?
Okay, I may have one other question. So imagine I'm a student. I wrote a question. I didn't want to wait. I went to another booth and so on and so forth. But then eventually I came back to the booth of my first company. And then is it correct that I will be able to see all the replies that company reps sent me?
Yeah, it is. You can see all the replies, but it's important that no one has deleted the cookies. Neither the web visitor nor you, for example. So this is very important, but it's basically it's possible that he comes back and sees his conversation and can continue or keeping writing this conversation.
And then the second question, if I'm the company rep, we had a nice conversation with the student. It seemed like we discussed everything. I closed the conversation. I ended it, right? Then in a couple of hours, I just realized that, in fact, I forgot to tell him something or send some link or something else. How do I retrieve ended conversations and still follow up with the person such that he will receive an email from me after?
So if he has left the contact details, you can either open the conversation. Oh no, that was still open here, like this conversation. You resume a conversation. Then you can wait, I have another information for you that you just resume the conversation and continue communicating with him. So if he or she doesn't reply, then you could copy this email address, of course, and write an email, but just in case he doesn't reply.
And one more question. After the fair, how long will the admin link will be available?
The admin link until the not the 29th, the 13th of April. So until the end of the month.
Until the end of
April, yes.
Until 29th of April.
Yeah.
Of April. 30 until 30th of April, right?
Yeah, this is correct. Until the end of the month. Yeah.
Is the widget name public or it's just for us internally? I'm not sure what to call it. Currently, it's called website.
You can change the name. So when you go into the website widgets, then you go into the widget editor and here you can change the name.
But is the name public?
No, the name is not public. The name is just for you and for the other operators.
Thank you.
I have another question. Can you go back one screen? Just
to the message center?
No, from this screen, just one back. So it's the start of the widget editor.
Here?
So here I see a lot of online 0. So here I am online, or I think I'm online, but I see a 0 on the page still.
It's not your page, Michael.
Pardon?
It's not your page. It's
online here. That's not me.
Sorry, I didn't get
page,
you.
Yes, but if I go on my page, then I see a 0, but I am online. So it should be a 1. I see 0 or 3. So we have 3 operators now. This is okay, but I'm online, so I see a 0.
Okay, this is relating to the widget. So you are talking about the live chat slots here. So as you can see, I offer 3 live chat slots, but none of the live chat slots is occupied or blocked. And if there is a live chat slot blocked, then I see it, of course, right here.
but I see that I'm not online. It's on the other screen, not on this one. So this.
On which screen? Maybe you could share your screen that we can.
On the screen before you just showed before.
This one here.
Yes, so I see. I do not see here that I'm online. So
But this is your widget list.
Yeah, I just share my screen.
Okay, yeah, that would be great.
So you can't start because Tessa is sharing, so we have to.
Sorry.
Yes, thanks. So Bildschirm, that's this one. Share.
Mm-hmm.
So you see the screen, and here is online is 0.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't quite understand this because here, so I'm on the page.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm in the live chat on the message center as well, but why is there a 0? Because
this is relating to the operators because when you go back to, can you please go back to the message, to the dashboard, please? And then Kanäle, website widgets. So, so you have in total 3 operators created. So it's yourself plus 2 other operators, right? And none of them are online in the message center. So even if you are logged into the dashboard, you are not online in the message center.
Okay, yeah.
And this is why you see 0 online and Gesamt 3 operators are created or are linked to this widget.
So in this case, if a colleague is online in the message center, I would see here 1 out of 3.
Yes.
Okay, now it's clear. Thank you.
You're welcome.
As soon as there was a big confusion with inbound URLs, maybe should we clarify this point a bit? Because Matteo, I think, can now give a presentation of what we all should do to make it finally clear. Matteo, would you like to share your screen and tell us?
Yes, I'm just doing it. So the thing with with this inbound URL, it's not that complicated. First, I hope you have seen the screen by now. That's the booth editor. Then you open the participants view, which is now our booth. It looks like this, and this here is the URL you should use to in the inbound URL field. So you just copy it, go to the inbound URL settings. Okay, so if you start you're starting here, then you go to website widgets. Open the widget, and then you just paste your inbound URL here, and that's all you have to do. So it's really not a magic. Tessa, correct me if I'm saying something wrong, but I think that's everything you have to do, and you don't have to worry too much about it.
Yes, correct. This is correct. Maybe it was a bit described abstractly, so it's not that complicated as you said. Yeah.
But once again, what are the consequences of not doing it?
So if you don't have an inbound URL, you will see the red bubble. The widget is invalid. Just ignore that. If you are if you would like the web visitor start a conversation while you're offline, and then we'll get back to him after you are online and have replied, then it's important to paste the inbound URL, because then the web visitor will get the message or an email on his left contact details with the information the operator has replied, with a button, and this button is linked to the inbound URL, which he can click and will automatically lead to the conversation again, to the widget again, where he can continue writing with you or chatting with you. I think we have Let me have a look. We have a tutorial for the inbound URL. So, now what is festlegen? So, this is in German. Wait a second. So, so the inbound URL is basically the URL of a page that this widget is implemented on. This is the URL we will directly direct your contacts to in the system messages we send them, for example, for unread messages, conversation transcripts, or to verify their identity. Yeah. So as Matteo has shown, just copy paste the URL of the page where your widget is implemented. And that's all. Tessa, could you maybe share your screen again in case you want? Yeah, of course, but there was just an information I have read. So here we go again. All right. Do you have further questions?
I think it would be nice if you could wrap up our meeting and say a few words and maybe summarize it in a way that what do we need to get the fastest an idea on how to be in our best shape at the day of the fair? And what are the additional training materials that will be useful for us? For us, I mean the companies. And maybe assuming that we'll have very little amount of time and we should really get into the essence and very important details as fast as possible.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. So first of all, every owner of the account has his or her own Userlike credentials. So you log into the Userlike account and will lead to the Userlike dashboard. Then the owner of the account will create operators, as we discussed right here under the team menu point and operators. Then you will set up your team while creating the operators. After that, you will create your widget, or one of your created operators will create the widget and configure the widget as shown. And then you just copy paste the Java code a snippet, which you can find here. Just copy and paste it into the PolyE fair. And then you see your widget on your website. Then on the day of the fair, you go to the message center, as I was just going to the message center and receive the chats yeah, on the day. And after the day, after the fair, you can either have the analytics and filter your conversations after the analytics, or you download your conversations and filter it right here. This is all you do. Yeah, this is Userlike in a nutshell.
Maybe one important thing to add is that it's also important to configure auto-reply messages before the fair, such that we really profit the best from the students' attention and we don't lose students and we collect their emails. So
yeah, this is part of the widget configuration. So that was summarized as widget configuration. So every setting in the widget configuration, the appearance, the inactivity prevention, the text, the wording, yeah, you have checked before the fair, of course. This is important. Yes.
Could you tell which exactly materials you're gonna share in addition? Which of them will be the most helpful and which of them are optional?
I think I will send you the most helpful because we have a great stock of tutorials here. So when you click the help button, you can find our FAQs and all tutorials like you find here. And this is a list of all our tutorials, and I will send you only the important tutorials for your fair. So something like analytics and team setup or widget setup, these tutorials are important for you, but tutorials like JSON API or client tracking API isn't relevant for you. So yeah, you can click here and you can read some tutorials, but I will send you the most helpful tutorials, or Maxim, I will send you or Jake the most helpful tutorials, and you can hand them over to the companies.
One more question. Do you have tutorials also in German?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. This is just the English dashboard, so it's automatically set into English.
How do you access them in German?
So the operator can adjust here or can configure the language like here. And if we switch into German, like this one here, the whole dashboard is switched into the German language. And then when we go back to Hilfe and alle Tutorials, dann sehen wir auch alle deutschen Tutorials.
Super.
All right.